Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the pay-per-view post-show review, where today we are going over the Night of Champions pay-per-view that just went down that just wrapped up like about 45 minutes ago. Ended exactly at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. I am your host, Josh, as always, and joining me for the first time on the post-show review is Ruin Wrestling.
Hey guys.
So yeah, we are going to be going over the Night of Champions card. Before we get into that, you guys know what I have to do. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, and comment, hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all the videos, podcasts, and interviews that come to the channel. Subscribe to the Ko-Fi page. It's $5 minimum on the exclusive wrestling content tier. Go check out my WWE shop link if you plan on buying anything from WWE shop. Also go follow Ruin Wrestling. Um, he's got some great content on his TikTok over there. And yeah, let's just jump straight into it. This was a six-match card. We started things off with a 2 hour pre-show that if you watch the podcast from earlier today, then you would know I had no idea or completely forgot about the kickoff show until Rue told me he had it on. I was like, oh wait, I completely forgot. Um as usual, if you missed it, you didn't miss much. It was 2 hours of just talking and filling in time about the matches, which honestly I feel like we do better on here than they do on the kickoff panel, breaking down the
I
matches.
mean, probably.
uh so yeah. Is there anything that you took away from the pre-show?
No, usual. It's the fact that genuinely the pre-show. I understand the point of it and what they're doing, but the whole thing could be they could get everything they need to get in, talk about each match, and I would say absolute maximum to try and drag it out an hour, but no more than that. If all they're going to do is just talk about each of the matches, they only need an hour.
Yeah. Um yeah, instead of watching the kickoff, just come over to Kayfabe Central and listen to our predictions podcasts. Um, uh, you'll get a lot more information on there than you would on the kickoff panel.
Certainly.
Um, yeah. So there was that. We kicked things off with the King of the Ring tournament final between Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. In my opinion, arguably the best match of the night. These guys went about 18 minutes and yeah, had a pretty good match where Cody Rhodes came out on top. Um, they didn't have him wear the crown, so I'm assuming like Triple H he likes the idea of King of the Ring, but doesn't like the idea of actually going through with the gimmick of King of the Ring, which doesn't make sense to me because the other winner that we'll get into later on in the show also didn't wear the crown. And I don't know, that was just a little takeaway I took from it. He just held up the crown instead. But overall, a good match. This match wrapped up with Randy Orton getting frustrated. He went for a steel chair. The steel chair was just to distract the referee, so Randy can take the turnbuckle off, and um, that ended up costing him when Cody pushed Randy into the exposed turnbuckle, hit the crossroads for the win. Um, yeah, I can see this leading to a Randy Orton heel turn eventually. I think he's going to be the one that turns heel.
Yep. I think spot on. Firstly, as you said, I think from a technical point of view, best match of the night. This is strictly from a technical one. A really, really fun match. But yeah, I think the main talking point, apart from Cody winning, was Randy backing out of using the punt. But as you said, I agree. I think this is leading to a Randy heel turn, and I would imagine that Cody Rhodes is going to be eating the punt at some point in the near future. When it is, I don't know. I mean, could they do a not quite the same, but similar to was it SummerSlam 2014? Is that the one where Daniel Bryan beat John Cena and Randy Orton, and then Triple H came out and turned on Bryan? Bryan cost him and Randy cashed in. I think that was no, was that 2013? 2013, I think.
Yeah, I believe that was
Um,
2013.
yeah, 2013. They could do something similar, maybe at SummerSlam. I think obviously now we now know it's going to be Cody versus Cena. Um, spoilers, I suppose, for later on in the show. Whoops. But,
Yeah, that's okay.
we know it's
Yeah.
we know it's going to be that. And then from there, maybe down the line at SummerSlam, we get Cody beating Cena, which I do think quite a lot of people have on their cards. But from there, do we maybe get a celebration similar, maybe not quite on the same scale, but similar to that of WrestleMania 40? And then Randy turns on Cody there, hits him with a punt, and then maybe Seth cashes in quite potentially. But either way, I think Randy's definitely turning heel, and he's going to be giving Cody Rhodes the punt at some point in the fairly near future.
Yeah, it definitely does seem that way. Um, because even second guessing himself on the punt, he still eventually went for it. Um,
Yep, yeah, it's there to be had. You would say.
yeah. So yeah, that was Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. Um, like Ru said, we're gonna get Cody versus Cena at SummerSlam. We'll get into that a little bit later on. The match that followed it was what they last minute called the Riyadh Boulevard Street Fight, even though in the lead up was just a street fight.
I
Um,
did not pay attention to that. I didn't even know they'd called it that.
yeah, so when they were announcing the match, the ring announcer, I always forget his name. Um,
Next something, SmackDown
something
one.
Nash. Um,
Oh, Nash. Yeah, yeah. It's not Nick. It's Nash, isn't it?
yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, he called it a
yeah.
Riyadh Boulevard street fight. I was like, okay, let's redo all my notes.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
so
Obviously.
yeah, Rhea Ripley ended up defeating Raquel, and so in the lead up to this, I said that there was one of two options. It was either Raquel Rodriguez wins with help of Roxanne Perez, and it kind of furthers the story a little more, or Rhea just wins and it means nothing. They went with another option, which in my opinion was just worse. They had Roxanne still come out to help Raquel, but Rhea was able to fight them both off by herself and win the match. And the match itself was fine. I It wasn't the best street fight I've seen. Um it was okay. Um I just don't understand this ending because why would you Triple H is going to come up with a stupid excuse. So, oh, it's to make Rhea look strong. You don't need to make Rhea look strong. And if so, why do it at the expense of Raquel Rodriguez, who is one half of your tag team champions right now, holding both tag titles, um, and Roxanne Perez, who you're trying to build up. And yeah, I just didn't understand that there. So
I mean, yeah. I was saying. I mean, I said it on the when we did the predictions. The case that I did pick Raquel just in the hope that they would be different, but there's obviously, and we both said it, obviously that the safe option is just to pick Rhea Ripley because it's Rhea Ripley. Why would you want to bet against her? And that's where they've gone. But yeah, I agree. It's a bit weird to have Roxanne come out and cost her, but then they had her help Raquel on Monday Night Raw, and it looked like Raquel was kind of being quite receptive to it. Um, I I guess it depends on what plans they've got for Evolution, but I, I don't know. It's a weird one. I understand it's not the situation they wanted to be in with all the injuries and stuff. So I mean, I appreciate that, but I don't know. The match itself, I thought was, as you said, it was fine. It was I've seen worse street fights. I've seen better. It was absolutely okay for what it needed to be. But yeah, I'm not 100. It's one of them where, like, obviously, Triple H says all the time, it's like, oh, we need to give it time. and
Yeah,
everything. I appreciate that, but for right now, it's like I can't quite see the vision here on where we're going.
yeah, neither can I. I can imagine that they might be leading to Rhea and a partner, potentially Nikki Bella at Evolution, which is not something I'm interested in. And here's the thing I have with that: you had Rhea fight off Roxanne and Raquel by herself. There should be no reason why, with a partner, Rhea should lose that tag match, realistically. And
Yep, spot
yeah, it just doesn't make sense for them to go that route. And it's just not something I'm interested in.
No, I'm the same. I mean, I mentioned it when we did the podcast with Stu the other day as well, and I said, there's the potential if they were to go down the route of Raquel winning with the help of Roxanne, and then Nikki Bella could come out to help Rhea. Whilst that's not a match I want to see, at least in the story like line wise, it makes sense as you said there. Rhea's struggling to fend off the two of them. Okay, let's get help from this, quote unquote, the Hall of Famer, blah blah blah. So that at least makes sense. Is it a match I want to see? Absolutely not. But if it's actually going to do, at least it's got some sort of backing behind it. But as you said, right now, Rhea's proven that she can beat Roxanne and Raquel. So why does she need a partner? She doesn't need a partner.
Yeah. Um, was not as bad as the match that followed it though, which was Sami Zayn defeating Karrion Kross. Now, Rue is somebody who said Karrion needs the performance of a lifetime. In my opinion, did not live up to that expectation. Um,
No.
I didn't like this, and another thing I don't like is I said that if the most interesting thing would be Karrion Kross winning here, and if they had Sami Zayn win, which obviously they did, then we know for sure they have no intentions of pushing Karrion Kross. And if I'm Karrion Kross, my contract is up soon, in a few months, I believe, towards the end of the year. WWE, and I think you alluded to this as well. They're gonna dangle something like maybe a 5 year in front of him just to keep him around. If I'm carrying Cross, I'm gonna say no because they pushed him to the moon in NXT, and on the main roster, he's just had nothing. So if I'm carrying Cross, I am going to AEW most likely to see if he can get a push there and actually, do something. Or maybe he tours the indies again. Maybe he goes to TNA, but I don't see that because the WWE relation. Um, yeah, but I think Karrion Cross needs to leave the company.
Yep. Absolutely. I said it all there. I was like, it doesn't even necessarily matter if Cross loses as long as he has a good performance, a better than good performance, and there's sort of something built after the match. He put on a bang average performance, and this is what even I said. Whether or not you like the character of Sami Zayn, you can't deny the guy's in ring ability and storytelling abilities. So I said it the fact that if you can't get a good match being paired up with Sami Zayn, uh, there's not much hope there. I mean, it was fine. Like that's the thing, but it needed to be better than fine.
Yeah.
And I don't think I don't think they achieved that. So I think that pretty much answers the question. I don't see Karen re-signing at all. I think this will be it for him. And actually, you mentioned there, and it's funny because see if we weren't in this timeline, I would have said TNA would be best for him to go back to. However, literally as you said, I agree with it being under the WWE umbrella. It's a bit of an awkward one now in general for any release talent. Because beforehand TNA was always such a good get for people to get back on their feet, etc. And now there's this really just kind of awkward elephant in the room of well, you haven't actually left WWE. So I wouldn't see him going to TNA, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, I think that's it for Karrion Cross, to be truly honest. Like even after the match, there was nothing, and kind of again alluded to what I said. Like he didn't have to necessarily win the match, but there was nothing. There was no character development between him and Sammy after it. There wasn't anything like he drove Sammy to his near breaking point, and Sammy kind of went to the dark side to win. He didn't. Sammy just hit him with a liver kick and pinned him and walked away. That was it.
Yeah.
Nothing else there to go off of. I think that's it for Karrion.
Yeah. I completely agree. And I wouldn't be surprised if he continues to be relegated to main event. And I would be even more surprised if he actually gets a any sort of win on like Raw for the rest of his contract.
Yeah, I think he'll be lucky to even get to see him appear. I wonder if, and it sounds really bad to say, I wonder if WWE just knew like all along that this is what the outcome was going to be, and this was almost like because of the situation they had with Dom and AJ. I wonder if this was all like basically to tell you as I told you so moment for WWE. To be like, here's the thing you've been so desperately wanting, and they've almost just proved us wrong. Well, not us, but in general, like everyone's clamoring for this match to push Cross, and now we've had that. I wonder if WWE's really cynical way of being like, is this like actually what you want? Look at it, like,
Yeah. And I'm a huge fan of Karrion Cross, and there's somebody in that higher power that doesn't like him. And I don't know personally what you can see look when you look at Karrion Cross, what you see that you don't necessarily like. No, he doesn't do all like the flips and all that stuff. He's very like I don't want to say generic when it comes to entering, but he doesn't go over the top, right? But
yeah,
neither does guys like The Miz, right? Neither hell, your
yep.
undisputed champion John Cena has like five moves. So, um,
Even Gunther, like, look, I absolutely adore Gunther, and yes, he is amazing, but there's not. He's also got a lot, but there's not. We're not talking about the most. We're not talking like about Will Ospreay or Swerve Strickland here, but Gunther knows how to use those moves well and effectively.
yeah. Um, I don't know who it is. Maybe hell, maybe it's Bruce Pritchard that doesn't
It's
like
always
carrying
it's
cross.
always Bruce Pritchard.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the interview with Chris Van Vliet that the former Baron Corbin did, and he alluded to it as well. He never said the name, but everyone was saying the same in the comments. He was like, "There's a guy at the top that did not like me and was trying to keep me down, and he knew fine well it was." He was like, "It wasn't Hunter, it wasn't Sean, it's and there's only one. It's got to be Bruce Pritchard.
It has to be. And like
It has to be.
I know Road Dogg is up there in the power too, but I don't think that like he has really any like much say in these things. I know I believe he is a writer, but I can't see Road Dogg
Yeah,
not liking Karrion Cross. Um so it's got to be like Bruce Pritchard or somebody. And I don't see it being Hunter. Hunter is the one who brought him back in the first place and
yeah.
threw him in a feud with AJ Styles off rip. So there's something going on there where they don't like carrying Cross. But like I said, if I'm Cross, I'm walking out no matter what they give me.
Yeah, I think so too. And yeah, I want to see because as you said, like Karrion Cross is fantastic. Is he the most amazing in-ring wrestler? No, and I used the term earlier. I don't think it's unfair to say he is a generic wrestler. That isn't a bad thing at all. He just has failed basic and generic moves. But again, that's not a bad thing at all. All the rest of it comes from his character, his storytelling, what he can do. I mean, you've seen the promos and cuts why everyone's fallen in love with him. His entrance is probably one of the coolest in the game at the minute. That one actually tonight was really good. Um, with Scarlett, but it's he's got everything there. And as you said, you don't need to be most amazing in ring wrestler to be a world champion. Is You don't need to have it. So yeah, I think if someone wants to pick him up, I could see him doing like great things. It's a shame that I don't think TNA is really an option just because of the new situation. So it really does only leave AEW is unless, as you said, he went to the Indies, went to like MLW or GCW, something like that.
Yeah. Um, I mean, how MJF just appeared in MLW, so they're starting to pick
Oh
up.
yeah,
So hey, maybe.
yeah,
You also
exactly,
have
exactly.
Bishop Dyer there, aka Baron Corbin. You have Dijak there. Um, so yeah, he very well could go there.
Yeah,
Um, Next we had the men's United States Championship match where Solo Sokoa defeated Jacob Fatu to win the title. Obviously not clean. We didn't expect him to win clean. I went with Jacob to retain here, and I was a little bit surprised that Solo won, but not completely because I did say there was a chance that Solo could just win here. You picked Solo actually, like confidently,
I did.
and yeah. So how this went down was we had who came out. So JC Mateo came out first.
Yep.
JC was not enough to put down Jacob. We then got a little bit of a surprise with Tonga Loa returning. By the way, WWE, whoever runs the WWE Twitter page spelled his name wrong. Um, they spelled it TA, which was his New Japan spelling.
Yeah.
Uh, but there was that. He was not enough either. No Tama Tonga. He got injured like a little bit after Tonga Loa, so he'll be a little bit longer. Then we had Hikaleo come out. Now they did the exact same thing with that they did with Ricky Saints, that they did with Blake Monroe. They said, "Oh, you know who that is? Oh, that's he did a lot of work in New Japan." And here's the thing: they trademarked around the time Hikaleo got signed. They trademarked Tala Tonga, and this entire time, I thought that's what he was going to be called. However, they did not call him that, even though it's trademarked already. So, a few things. They could just not be going with Tala Tonga anymore. They could just be calling him something else and they haven't figured it out yet. Or maybe they are calling him Tala Tonga and somebody just forgot to tell commentary.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. You said that. So the two points for me was firstly, I thought that when he came out, uh, I was listening out for them to see if they said Hikaleo, but I didn't actually hear if they did or not, so I wasn't 100%. So if they didn't, that's interesting. And second part of that, I suppose three parts actually. The next part of that, I completely forgot that they did trademark that Talatonga, and that would also play in and make sense because the one thing I do remember Michael Cole really pushing is that this is the brother of Tama and Tongaloa. So they've already pushed the fact that he is the brother of the two of them. So yeah, calling him Talatonga, I guess, in WWE's mind would make sense.
Yeah. But they did not. So maybe somebody just forgot to tell commentary. And the only thing commentary was told was don't call him Hikaleo. Um that could have
Yeah, quite
very
possibly. I
well
mean, I
been.
wonder if they've learned a lesson from when. Oh, sorry, just there you go.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I agreed because I wonder if they sort of learned a lesson because it was interesting when JC came in because they did refer to him as Jeff Cobb on his first night. Michael said that's Jeff Cobb on commentary. So it's on whatever it was uh when did he debut? Was it in where did he debut in? I've completely forgotten. Backlash.
Yeah. Did they call him Jeff Cobb?
Yeah, Backlash. Yeah, they did call him Jeff Cobb on commentary.
Oh
Because I
wow.
was like, oh, cool, cool, they'll go with Jeff Cobb. But the next time on SmackDown, no, this is JC Mateo. I wonder if they've learned a lesson from that. But no, no. It's funny. I was waiting to get into this match because I am so proud of how, and I didn't get it exact. I got so close to predicting this almost to a T exactly what would happen. The only difference being is I said uh, it would be so they'd have Solo and Jacob. Obviously, they'd go back and forth later in the match. They would end up getting JC involved, which he did. He came down, and then the ref whatever will take a bump or go, they'll be looking. And then I said Tama and Tonga would return. Obviously, Tama hasn't. It's just Tonga Loa. Tonga Loa isn't enough to keep him down. And then yeah, I said there would be a debut in Hikuleo or wherever he's going to be called now, and Solo would get the win. And that was pretty much almost to a T exactly what happened. So I'm quite proud of that.
Yeah, you called this match pretty much almost like exactly how it happened. Um, yeah, so kudos to you for that one. Um, but yeah, in terms of the match itself, it was okay. They did their thing. I can't remember how long these guys went for, but yeah, it was fine enough.
Yeah, it was a good decent match. Yeah, I think they must have only been about it only felt about 10, 15 minutes if that. They went, but yeah, I think it does seem potentially a little bit early, especially because they did seem to be teasing the Damien Priest Jacob Fatu feud, which now is obviously completely gone, and Priest seems to be feuding with Aleister Black. Because I thought what they might have done was Priest here at King of the Ring and then Solo at SummerSlam, but obviously not. They've pulled the trigger early. The only reason I can think of that's potentially is Jacob Fatu. I don't want to say that he's above the US Championship, but he also he's only had the belt a couple of months and he's already proving again just how good he is. So and it's weird because like the LA Knight situation, I do struggle to see a world where he fits right now into the main event on SmackDown. So
Yeah,
if they are going to be doing this quote unquote draft that they might do, it would be interesting to see Jacob going over to Raw. I mean, give me Jacob and Gunther, please.
yeah,
God forbid that Goldberg doesn't doesn't win.
yeah,
But yeah, give me Jacob and Gunther any day of the week, and maybe Jacob goes on to become world heavyweight, especially as we were talking about earlier and alluded to that potentially with LA Knight being injured at the minute, that might have been the original plan to have LA Knight and Gunther. But if LA Knight's injured, we don't know for how long. Maybe they'll just want to push Jacob up into that upper echelon. We could have maybe Jacob and Gunther come SummerSlam time. It'd be interesting to see, but I think there's good things in Jacob's future.
yeah. I think right now they're going to stick with this storyline. I think that they're going to run a rematch at SummerSlam or maybe even Saturday night's main event. I can see that happening. Um or maybe at its Saturday night's main event, it's a tag match, Jimmy Uso and Jacob versus whatever the pairing might be with the new bloodline thing. I can see that
Yeah,
happening.
it's good. Either sorry,
Yeah, no
no,
worries.
it's because either that or what uh, along with the tag match, what Stu said, which sounded pretty horrible but also made sense. As it could be at Saturday's main event, is Jay's got nothing to do at the minute, so maybe they do the Usos and Jacob taking on I don't know, maybe not even Solo, maybe do maybe Solo's on the outside and we just have JC, uh, uh, Tongaloa and whoever Piccoleo's going to be. So we could do the trios match there potentially.
Yeah, um, that's definitely a possibility there. Um, so yeah, I don't think this affects Jacob in any way. I think he'll be fine. Jacob is going to be at
Yeah,
the top of the company in a few years. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, happy for Solo though.
yeah,
He won something.
yeah. I honestly more than deserved because I mean we said it the other day, and the fact that as much as it made sense at the time, I never really liked the whole Solo being especially when he was the bodyguard effectively for Roman Reigns, and then when he brought in the Bloodline 2.0. Not that I couldn't see him being the leader, but being the serious kind of hard man esque leader that he was. But this newfound kind of role that he's got is he's still the leader, but he's a lot more comedic, and he basically I think it suits him so much better. And you know what? He's earned his US title, whatever, and fair play to him.
Yeah. Um, so before we get into the final two, I am going to create a new meeting because of the meeting
Yeah.
time. So yeah, I will be back. All right, we are back. So yeah, we were just talking about the men's US title match. Following that, we had the Queen of the Ring tournament final. Jade Cargill versus Asuka, where Jade Cargill um somewhat beat Asuka. Um, so I say somewhat because Jade Cargill hit the jaded, went for the pin where Asuka like was bent backwards, but her shoulder was very clearly up. And they went about like 8.5 minutes, not long, because Jade isn't the best in ring performer, so I guess that's why they did that. Um, but yeah, Asuka's shoulder was very clearly up. And what's interesting to me about this is last year, in the men's final, Randy Orton versus Gunther. Gunther beat Randy Orton, but his shoulder was very clearly up. Also in Saudi Arabia last year, and we had the same thing this year. And it's like very interesting to me that that happened 2 years in a row. Like, what are the chances that happens in two finals matches? So yeah, um, it was a whatever match. It was like I said, only 8.5 minutes. Nothing much happened here except for that pin.
Yeah, that's as you said. It kind of proved my worst fears. Like I've tried to be quite positive, and at the heart, I do like Jade Cargill. I just every single time she. That's what I mean. It was good when she was in the tag team with Bianca, and even at that, there was still some ropey moments. But Bianca was able to kind of soldier her through the match. But I think this tournament in particular has kind of showing a lot of kind of weak points in Jade's game. As you said, she's not the strongest in ring. I don't even think she's that strong in the mic. The kind of promo she cut after it, like what she's saying is good, but it's the delivery of it I find sometimes is still a wee bit off. And yeah, this match kind of proved that it it felt awkward and clunky at times, and it out of no fault of Asuka's, I will say. So I don't know. I'm slightly scared for it, especially if the plan is to have her going into the main event program and probably with Naomi in a bit. This is the thing, you won't improve if you don't learn and you don't try things. So I'm all for her in that sense doing that, but yeah, I wanted this match to be good for Jade's sake, but yeah, it wasn't. It probably was my least favorite match on the show. But as you said, obviously with the shoulder being up, I wonder if that is something they can use in a storyline. Obviously, they did it last year with Randy and Gunther and they ran it back. But I wonder if come the next few weeks on Raw, we might have Asuka basically using that as oh my shoulders went down, and then kind of in the fighting like kind of being a fighting champion that he was, maybe he was like, I agree with you. I'll give you the match at SummerSlam or something like that, and that kind of help. That can lead them to their match down the line because that's where I think it's going as well. So they might be able to use that in storyline. But yeah, I just feel bad for the two women here. It wasn't the best of matches.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Where I see this going is obviously now we're gonna get Tiffy and Jade at SummerSlam. I don't see Tiffy losing that in the lead up to SummerSlam. I think this is the match that we're going to get. This could end up with, and I think this is the more likely scenario with Jade Cargill winning at SummerSlam and Naomi cashing in. I obviously like I don't think that the cash in will happen anytime before SummerSlam. And yeah, I can see that being the route. And then we go into uh Bianca and a Naomi feud, and then maybe Jade Cargill wins the Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber, and then that's how we get to Jade and Bianca at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think that's fairly spot on. As you said with SummerSlam, if they are going to do the cash in, that's where I think it will happen. It's where I think it should happen because I guess another option, and it's not an option I would favour really because once again it involves a failed cash in, which I spoke about in the podcast earlier. I hate nowadays with Triple H's booking of it. Is obviously, you alluded to it, Bianca is meant to be back around SummerSlam. Maybe she's ready. Maybe Naomi. So maybe Jade wins. Maybe Naomi goes to cash in and Bianca foils or some way. So Naomi still isn't the champion. I don't particularly want that, but it's potentially another route that they would go down, and then he would kick off a Bianca and Naomi feud, uh, not for the title currently. But I still think after tonight, that puts Jade in that really awkward position. Plus, if Bianca and Naomi go off to have a feud without the title, who's really there in the current kind of climate to challenge Jade? Obviously, we've got Julia, but she's in the US title feud. Charlotte and Alexa look like they could potentially be going into the tag team division. Um, I mean, maybe Chelsea, a returning Chelsea, but I think Jade will struggle if they keep the title on her at the minute for a long time. Not even out of her own fault, as I just don't think they've got the women on the division currently who are in the right place at the right time to feud with Jade. So I think it will do more harm for her. So I think the smart decision is to have Naomi cash in and Naomi hold the championship for the meantime.
Yeah, 100%. Well, yeah, I do think Naomi's going to successfully cash in. Um,
Yeah.
I think that um I don't know if I minced words there by accident. Um, but yeah, I do think Naomi cashes in on the new champion Jade at SummerSlam, and Jade kind of tries to fight her way back through the Royal Rumble. Meanwhile, Naomi and Bianca feud. Now, where this
Yeah.
leaves Tiffy, I have no idea. Um, could she go to Monday Night Raw? Potentially. Um, we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe like they'll already be setting something up. Maybe for her with the women's US title. I think her and Julia could be a good match. Um, yeah, I don't fully know, but I the direction we just talked about, I can see them more than likely going in that direction.
Yeah, I agree. As you said, if they want to move her over, then cool. I would be interested actually in an Io and Tiffy feud if Io was to keep the championship at SummerSlam. But if not, I think probably the most sensible direction is Julia in the US the Women's United States Championship on the pitch. I think they would actually have quite a good match. And it's like because Tiffy's reign, I don't even think it's not even her fault. It's just it's not quite been there for me, and I think it is simply because they had no idea how else to book and who else to put her against apart from Nia. She had the bit with Charlotte, which was interesting up to the WrestleMania match, and then
Yeah,
that obviously disappeared, and it's just been nothingness, and then gone back to Nia. So I think it's unfortunate because she's done the best she can do, but I think it would be good to put her back because she's still over as hell. Like it's not as if folk are tired of her. So yeah, I think probably putting her if they're not going to move her to Raw, I think putting her in with Julia is probably the next best option.
yeah. Um, yeah, I agree. So yeah, that was Jade Cargill and Asuka. That was followed by the main event for the WWE Undisputed Championship. John Cena defending his title against CM Punk, in which he retained the title. This was interesting, and this is a match I watched with my sister, and we were surprised at a lot of things that happened here. We had so what happened first? I believe it was so the ref got knocked down, and Punk got the upper hand, was calling for a ref, but Seth Rollins, Big Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker, they need a name for this faction. I am so tired of saying the entire faction. Um, but yeah, they came down to the ring, uh, took out Punk, eventually took out Cena, in which we saw glimpses of a babyface turn for John Cena today. And I think by SummerSlam, when because I'm assuming he loses that title to Cody, I believe that'll be the babyface turn where he raises Cody's hand. Um, then we had Penta come out to try and stop things, and we had Sami Zayn coming out. Penta dove off the stage. Um, and then Punk eventually had Cena up for the GTS. Seth hit uh Punk with the briefcase, hit him with a curb stomp, but then Cena threw Punk out of the ring and pinned um threw Rollins out of the ring and pinned Punk to retain. So still a bit of heelish moves there because it wasn't anything Cena did. It was all the work from Rollins. But once again, Seth Rollins costing CM Punk a match and costing him a big opportunity. And yeah, I obviously we have Cody and Cena at SummerSlam. Don't know where they're gonna go with the Punk and Rollins thing. Um, but in the grand scheme of things, I can see this leading to uh a Cody and Rollins match at WrestleMania next year, which doesn't particularly interest me in seeing again, but that's the route I can see them going.
Yeah, so I'll quite comment on that and go back to the match. Yeah, I wonder because when you said there about Cody and Rollins, my mind went in a similar vein, but on the other side was um because yeah, I agree. I think Cody's going to win at SummerSlam, and with what we've predicted for the Jade Cargo Naomi situation, I can't imagine we see two. I don't think there's ever been two cash-ins in one
No,
night.
yeah, I don't
Um,
see that happening.
I I don't see that happening either, unless Triple H really just wants rid of the briefcases. Um, but I wonder if obviously Cody wins and maybe down the line, especially if he goes into a feud with Randy Orton, maybe they have a hell of a payoff match, maybe something like I don't know, like a Hell in a Cell or some sort of cage match or something. Um, and then Seth cashes in, and then I wonder if at Mania we get the Seth and Punk match that we never got to get at WrestleMania 40 finally, and then potentially Punk wins there, and it gets becomes the new WWE champion. So I think there's a lot of routes to go down, but I mean the match was I like I was going mental during the match. It just it kind of felt like almost the same way I did at WrestleMania 40, also on a
Yep.
smaller scale, but still it was it was crazy. But I will say I think um up until the interference with Seth Rollins, I think this was probably Cena's best match of the heel turn so far.
Oh, I agree.
I think him and Punk did. Yeah, because I know you mentioned the other day that you weren't too sure about how they were going to be. And there was always that you don't know. The two guys are obviously in the late 40s. But the only reason I was like hint that it could be decent was because I that sort of 10 minutes back and forth they had at the Elimination Chamber, it was quite good. But at the same time, that was only for 10 minutes. I was like, how are they going to go? Going 20 plus minutes? But they seemed absolutely fine to be fair. Great match, and then as you said, Seth came out. They definitely need a name, a name for the group. A hell of a spot for Penta, I will say. Like, yeah, because when his music actually hit, and I feel bad again. I don't know if it's a Def Rebel thing or if it was more of a just sheer shock. When Penta's music hit, I did not know who it was straight away, but not because of the music. I don't think I just didn't expect it to be Penta. It wasn't until I seen him, I was like, oh, it's Penta. So fair play to him. And he said Sammy. I think Sammy's definitely going to be in and around the main event on Raw, so he's cool to be there. But yeah, really really interesting. Great by forth. It kept us on our toes, but in the end, yeah, I think we all had Cena to win. Is what we expected. But yeah, kind of glimpses of the face turn were there, which I agree. I think though they're going to do it SummerSlam. I was trying to explain this to my girlfriend, so she's not into wrestling. She only sees it and kind of occasionally watches it through me. So that's how she knows it. I remember the two of us were talking about this not that long ago about how Cena's going to go out because she thought he was going to go out just as a bad guy, and I was like, nah, they won't do that. They need to. It's kind of the issue with the heel turn. As much as we all wanted it, it's 15 years too late. In that sense that we can't just have this long heel Cena run. They're not going to have him go out with people booing him because people already aren't booing him and don't want to boo him. Um, because of who he is and it is their time tour. So they need to kind of get on the face turn, which I agree. I think it's going to happen at SummerSlam. I'm very glad the ending finally wasn't the bloody WWE Championship. Obviously, they teased it.
Yeah.
But actually having a move to end the match finally, I was so happy to see that. But yeah, really, really, really good match between two. I'm excited to see where it goes from here and where the kind of WWE Championship picture goes.
Yeah. You brought up the feeling of it being like WrestleMania 40 all over again. And that's literally what me and my sister were saying. I'm like, what if this is the one night that The Rock shows up to work? Like, just
I
imagine just out of nowhere.
genuinely thought that.
Yeah. And like obviously the crowd was chanting OTC. I'm like, could we get Roman?
Oh,
Um,
I thought that
but
potentially.
yeah, I was like, is he really just gonna travel all the way to Saudi to do a couple spears and Superman punches? Um,
No, I know.
yeah. So especially with everything that's going on. Um, yeah, so overall, solid match. Obviously not their best match, but
Yeah,
this was good enough in my opinion. And yeah, good on both of them for, you know, doing their thing. And it kept Punk looking strong because it was Seth that cost him again. And still had Cena looking a bit heelish without using the title. And that's
yep,
probably going to be the talking point, the fact that Cena threw the title aside. And like obviously it's heelish to capitalize on someone else attacking your opponent, but realistically, that's what anybody should do.
yeah,
Like you're there to win the match. So yeah, I think that the babyface turn is just going to happen at SummerSlam for him.
yeah. I agree. I think actually what you said there is so true as well. I could see some people on Twitter instantly because no one's ever happy on that platform going on about that with Cena and it being it's been heelish and then face. But like, see by that kind of reckoning, as you said, like it's stupid to not cash in on something because by that term, if you would that would mean that every babyface Money in the Bank winner is technically a heel because the whole point of it is cashing in and capitalizing on your opponent.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, no, exactly. I agree. I think that will be the talk point, especially obviously now going into the feud with Cody at SummerSlam because Cody was not the only one. I think Randy might have alluded to it a little bit, but in the run up to the WrestleMania match, you could see Cody trying to break the walls of John. Saying to him that this isn't him, and he knows deep down inside that this isn't John Cena. This is just a desperate John Cena now, a guy who's in his late 40s who's just like so desperate to be at the top. So Cody's already tried to kind of peel away at those cracks, and now that we've seen a crack in this match with Punk and John not using the title, I think Cody especially Cody because he'll be able to play off it. He can give that guy anything; he'll be fine in a promo battle. Cody will think will use that to his advantage and play off of that to try and get into the mind of John Cena to basically, without being all cringy about it, but like pull him over to the good side again.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. Um yeah, overall this pay-per-view was, or PLE, whatever we want to call it, uh was solid and it wasn't bad at all.
No, I agree. It is a thing. I think especially the Saudi shows. I think another thing as well, just to give them the props with the Saudi pay per views, it's the crowd absolutely make it. Like whenever we go on about, like we've also spoken about, I've done videos on it saying that they should cancel the event. It's nothing against the people at all. It's strictly just on the general, you know, landscape and climate of the world currently. But the crowd in Saudi Arabia, there's one of the best crowds probably around. The Cody and Randy match, they were going mental for them. So I think they definitely made the night.
Yeah, 100%. I was getting goosebumps during that Randy entrance. That was insane.
Oh, crazy.
Um, but yeah, that is going to do it for our Night of Champions 2025 review. Let us know what you guys thought. Because we are interested in what you guys think of this pay-per-view. If you agreed with anything, if you disagreed with anything, let us know in the comment section below. If you're listening on Spotify, you can let us know in the comment section there. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. Hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all the videos, podcasts, interviews that come to the channel. Subscribe to the Ko-Fi page. It's $5 minimum for the exclusive wrestling content tier. Check out my WWE shop link. Um, check out Rule and Wrestling on TikTok. Yeah, and we will see you guys probably for the headlines of the week next. Unless I do like another podcast during the week or something like that. Um, but yeah, anything else you want to add?
No, I think that will be all good for us. It's good pay for you tonight. I will say I might not actually be around next Friday, Saturday. So you may either just be yourself or with Stu, see if he's around. But I'll let you know in the coming week.
Sounds good. And yeah, that is gonna do it for us. Hope you guys enjoyed Night of Champions, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take it easy.
Bye.